Welcome to Handi Quilter Watch and Learn. I'm Kristina Whitney.
And I'm Kim Sandberg.
And your wish is our command. Today we are going to talk about the Wishbone design. So we're continuing on with some of our classic designs. And Wishbone was one on the list.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I rarely finish a quilt that doesn't have some wishbone somewhere on it, so I use it all the time.
So that's one of your go-tos?
It's one of my go-tos for sure.
Excellent. Maybe I should make you do all the stitching today and the drawing.
Sure.
Okay.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to the drawing board.
Okay, let's take a closer look at the anatomy of a wishbone. So a wishbone is just starting about halfway, going up and making a loop, and then coming down and making another loop, and making another loop, and coming down and making that other loop. And you can do it really tall and skinny, very close together, or you can do them wider with smaller loops, or you can make the loops bigger. There's a lot of variation that you can play with on this design. The trick is remembering that you make the loop, and when you make the loop, you come back and go down, and then move forward and go back. Come down, going back to make the loop, and then moving forward. A great place to use this design is in shapes like this in quilting. So like in a double wedding ring or something like that, you'll have these melon shapes. So it is a really great one because it allows you to fill it in very easily with an interesting looking design, but you can fill all the space. So you just continue to make those larger and then smaller as you work your way through the design. So it's a great classic design, and it fills odd spaces. So I really recommend that you take some time and practice drawing this design before you quilt it. This is a really great doodle design to play around with. It gives you that muscle memory, and especially because when you make that loop, you move backwards when you make the loop. You'll get used to doing that, and then when you go to quilt, you'll be moving in the correct direction with that backward loop motion.
Okay, as I'm preparing to do my wishbone, if I'm not super confident with my wishbone, something that you can do is just take a marking tool that you've tested on your fabric and actually draw it onto the fabric. And then you can just stitch right over the design. Okay. And we'll see how close I get to my lines. Okay, here we go. Pause and adjust my hands. Beautiful. Let's say I don't like all these little gaps. I could even come back and do another layer of the wishbone, just shorter, and fill in some of those empty spots. There we go.
So I have a box drawn here on the fabric that I'm going to quilt in, just this rectangle right here that I drew with a handy pencil. This represents like a border that I would put this in. So I'm gonna go ahead and check my settings really quick. I've got this set up so that when I stop stitching, I will end with my needle down, and I'm in a cruise mode, which is great for this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and stitch, and I'm gonna do a little bit, Kristina showed you guys a wider one and putting an extra design inside of it. I'm gonna do one that's narrower and closer together, so we're gonna think tall and skinny as we're stitching this one. can see how this is a design that you kind of get in a groove and you get in a flow and it just rolls. So it's fun to do. You can see how this design definitely has a little bit of a different look than what Kristina stitched out, the tall and skinny version. I really like how she went back and put that little extra design in there. Now let's take a look at stitching this out with a Pro Stitcher. So one of the things I want to show you is I'm going to set up an area, and then I'm going to show you a way to use this as like an edge, using Wishbone as an edge-to-edge design. All right, I have my area set up here, and we're going to go ahead and go in and open up this design. Now in the Pro Stitcher library, I've got two different versions. I've got this alternating loops that has a point at the top, and then the one that looks like the one we've been using with a smoother curve. Just for something different, I'm going to do the alternating loops, but this is the same design. It's that same path, that same stitch path. Now I'm going to do different rows of this, and we're going to offset them. So we're going to go in and do a repeat, and we're going to repeat a few across and then do a few vertically, and then I'm going to use the stretch function here to make it all fit there. But what I'm going to do is go to wrap, and we are going to do vertical, and actually I didn't need to do wrap, but I can still do it under this. I'm going to reduce my gap. And then we will go to horizontal, and we're going to play with that row gap just a little bit so that they're offset. You can now see that we have the top of that wishbone is actually going up inside the row before it. This makes a really cool edge-to-edge design using this classic design. So let's go ahead and stitch this out. When we stitch out the second row, that is when you are going to see the magic here, and you'll see that design start to take place where we have that little bit of overlapping happening. Right, we can take a closer look at that, and you can see how the top of that wishbone is just landing right in between the bottom part of it, and how that creates a fun edge-to-edge design. So that's another way that you can stitch this classic design.
Fantastic. So, wishbone, I hope your wish was answered. You learned a new design today. I'm going to recommend, though, that you do doodle with this. And I also will do it on my actual quilt top with my finger before I do any stitching, just to get familiar with that pathway that I'm doing, get that muscle memory. So it is a great design, and it will fit anywhere.
Yep, it sure will.
So, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.